It's simple for me. I like what I do, and I like the people I have in my life. So, for as long as you enjoy what you're doing in life and you spend it with people that you enjoy having in your life, I feel like the recipe is really simple.
Wonderful. So, all I have to do, basically, to be as happy as you are, is to have the right people in my life.
It's a step.
Okay.
It's a step.
So just guide me. If I'm a girl, and every Monday when I wake up, I'm sad, or all I have, Ndoni, I go on the Facebook and I write about my man and all that. So, how do I get to be like Amanda?
Well, happiness is a choice. So you have to make the choice in the morning when you wake up that I am choosing to have a good day. I am choosing to be happy today. And I'm choosing to not let yesterday's issues affect my life. So I think when people wake up and whether they're sad about relationships or sad about guys, you're sad because of something that happened yesterday. So you need to choose to be happy on that day. Because when you're waking up, nothing bad has happened yet. So if you yourself have positive energy towards the day, then you attract good things towards your own life.
Wonderful, man. That's quite, I'll take that as a step forward. You're a photographer, you like baking, you're an activist, you're a pilot. How do you keep up with everything?
Well, funny enough, the busier you are, the better you get at handling your time. So as much as people say you've got a lot on your plate, I manage the things on my plate.
Okay, so basically, it's easy. It's possible to be a pilot at the same time be good at baking, at the same time. Because I realized recently you and your family partake in no to xenophobia activity.
Yeah.
And are you going to give us a little brief into that? What was the motivation behind it for you guys to actually decide, okay, you know what, this is happening in the country, and we're just going to take a day specifically as a family and go and also participate in actually getting people aware about what was going on there? What was the motivation, or why did you?
So coming from a family where my roots are not in South Africa, it was important for me to take a stand for the Kandawire's, whether they were in SA or not. And I felt personal interest in the whole thing because of the background that I come from. Even though I was born here, my family is not necessarily from here, and everything that was happening in the country just did not sit well with me. So as an individual who felt a personal connection to the whole thing, I just wanted to do my part to voice against xenophobia, and luckily my family was supportive of the whole thing, and we did it together, and it was great.
Wonderful. Tell me about your profession, being a pilot. How is it?
Oh man, well, considering I love my job, it's everything and more. I mean, it's what I've always wanted to do, so now that I get to do it on a daily basis, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay, for people like me that are very afraid of height, scared to death.
See, that height thing is funny because there's actually pilots that are afraid of heights as well. So from my understanding with the whole height thing, people are only afraid of heights when they can look at the ground and they don't like being so far from the ground. So if I put you on the top of a building and I say, look down, that's fearful. But when you're in an aircraft, it's enclosed. So there's a little bit of sense of safety in that regard. So people might be afraid of heights, but they're okay with flying.
So it is not a black thing?
No, Shem, it's not a black thing. It's a people thing.
Wonderful. Thank you for clarifying that, because I thought I had a disease or something. Okay, cool. And one other thing. What ignited your love or your passion actually to when you were a student, or even when you left high school, before you actually pursued this profession? What ignited all this passion?
I think I came across flying by chance. I was very fortunate when I was younger to fly down to the Eastern Cape because my mom's side of the family is from there. And usually we used to take bus trips down or we drive down or whatever the case was. But this particular trip, my parents couldn't come with me, so I was forced to go on my own. And being that young, the only safe form of travel for a kid was to fly. And since that day, I was hooked. Like, it only took that one flight for me to be like, this is it. When I grow up, this is what I want to do. But on the same night, coming from a background or a society or a community where flying was not the norm, like nobody knew anything about the industry, it was a bit tricky trying to get into it. And my parents as well were just like, hey, you want to do what? So it took a while to get everybody on board, but it's one of those things, if you set your mind to something and you know that this is what you want to do, then you'll work your ass off to get to where you want to be.
Lovely.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
You are, bro. It's girl power. And one of the most interesting thing about you as well is, that I've noticed, is that you have time for your friends. And as I said in the beginning, you said the more things you do, the easier it is for you to be able to plan things and all that, which for some of us, it still seems as if a dream to come true one day. But how do you make time for friends? A lot of times we say we make time for family because it's family. But I see you do make a lot of time for your friends, because based on the personal digging deep we did, we realized that a lot of your friends were carrying the dong in your days and your fun hour and all. How do you manage it?
Well, I don't have a lot of friends, so my friends are my family. So it's important for me to make time for them, just like I would for my parents, just like I would for my cousins. So it's really important for me to make time for them, because one, we all need to just relax and get away from whether it's your work pressures or life pressures, and they are my scapegoat. And the nice thing about the friends that I have, they also empower me and keep me going. We feed off each other's energies, and because of the circle of friends that I have, I'm able to progress in all my other aspects of life. So that's why it's important for me to make time for them.
So I'm considering your Facebook friends are not your friends.
See, no. Facebook and reality are two different spheres. There's the people that I deal with on a daily basis, and they're the ones that feed life into me. Whereas my Facebook friends, I feel like Facebook is my platform to share my life with the people out there. So I don't necessarily then say my Facebook friends are my daily friends. Like, they're great because I learn things from them, and I'd like to think I teach them stuff as well. But the relationship I have with them to the friends that I see on a weekend basis are two different things.
Wonderful. So moving to the next, South African Women in Aviation gave you an award, right? Was it an acknowledgement? What was it?
No, actually, okay, South African Women in Aviation is a non-profit organization I used to volunteer for up until the beginning of this year. But it was the work that I did through them that I got nominated for. It was a different award. It was from CEO magazine for the most influential women in aviation. So yeah, it's two different organizations, but because of the work that I did through them and on my own capacity, I got recognized in that regard.
And how did you feel being recognized at least by a very prominent organization as such?
It's a very strange feeling. It's a bit surreal, because I do what I do because it's important to me, but I didn't expect it to get recognized by other people. So I don't really know how I feel about it even now, because as much as I do the work that I do and I like to give back, I still feel like I haven't done enough. So in my eyes, I feel like I have to do actually so much more in life to even be worthy of an award like that. So it's very humbling, but it also just keeps me going to know that the work that I do is important.
Wonderful. Rounding it up, so normally when we do interviews like this, it's very good to be able to have an opportunity, a platform to motivate the young ones. And how would you relate your roots being an African to your profession?
I think being an African in my profession, particularly being a girl in my profession and a black girl in my profession, it's very important for whether it's people that look like me or people that relate to my story to know that it is possible. I grew up in Soweto, nothing fancy, nothing extraordinary. I didn't know any pilots. I went into an industry I knew nothing about, but I believed in myself and I believed in the potential that I had, and it was enough to carry me. So I think whether somebody sees it as motivation or just enough for them to just wake up and get going for the next day. It's important for people to not get stuck in circumstance and constantly say, oh, because I'm from, whether it's an area like this or my parents do this, people always feel like they can't amount to anything, and it's really not the case. So I think it's important for people to just rise up above the circumstance and believe in their own potential, and know that if you really want to do something, regardless of where you're from or what your background is, believe in yourself enough to know that you can.